In 1954, Toho introduced the world to the King of the Monsters with his surprise hit debut film that made Toho themselves a name to be recognized. It was quickly followed up with a not as successful film called Godzilla Raids Again, or Gigantus in some cases, which garnered mixed to negative reception.
Banana oil.
After that, Toho gave their monster superstar a 7-year rest before bringing him back in 1962's King Kong vs. Godzilla, which became another big hit. Before then, they've worked on other science fiction and kaiju flicks, which for the most part were good choices. However, before they kept Godzilla rested until 1962, they had plans to make another quick follow-up to Raids Again, titled Bride of Godzilla? Yes, you have to say it in the form of a question, which was going to be the third and quite possibly final film in the Godzilla series, at least from how the premise goes. The story follows a scientist named Dr. Shida who constructs a robot who resembles his wife, whom I'm assuming has passed away and really, as far as I know, never gets brought up again. Both Godzilla and Anguirus return from out of nowhere and go at each other like in the previous film. Dr. Shida quickly, or may have already, built a giant robot in the image of his daughter, foster daughter to be specific. The robot combats the giants and flees them off. Dr. Yamane gets brought up for his thesis he had in the original film, where he states Godzilla hadn't been seen because he hid in the underwater trenches, until of course atomic weapons woke him up. This is most likely where Godzilla from the previous movie and Anguirus arose from as well. A hollow earth theory, if you like to think of it like that. Dr. Shida travels to the hollow earth for some reason, and I don't really know how, with his robot daughter, and finds a race of Godzillas, Anguirus, and other giant-type creatures, along with mermaids if you can believe it. Some of these creatures make it to the surface of Kyushu, Japan, and the giant robot springs into action and tries to stop them, defeating both a giant chameleon and an Archaeopteryx, as well as taking down Anguirus by snapping his jaw. Ouch. All that's left is Godzilla. However, things take a very unexpected turn when Godzilla suddenly falls in love with her. I don't get it. I really don't. Robot daughter gets nude.
What?
And the two go somewhere privately. However, robot daughter had a hydrogen bomb planted in her body, and yes, of course, it goes off, presumably killing Godzilla and sealing off the entrance to the Hollow Earth. All I have to say is, what the hell was this going to be? Like, this seriously came out of the mind of someone. And this was all 2 years after the original film. Talk about a complete 180 in tone. The concept of this film completely shits on the mood of the original. Like how Godzilla, a deformed innocent creature scarred from mankind's atomic testing, is actually just part of a herd of Godzillas that live in the center of the earth, that just look like their skin has been through a microwave. All living aside a bunch of mermaids, chameleons, and what have you. I'm curious, was this really gonna happen? Because it feels like a joke. Like, why would he all of a sudden fall in love with a robot that resembles a human being? That's like saying a wild tiger gets turned on from a sexy woman. I mean, wasn't there a race of these creatures? Are female Godzillas just hard to come by? The robot daughter doesn't even have a name, hence why I keep calling her that. Though I'm sure in the finished product they would have given her one. The way I could see them bringing her to life is to just cast a regular woman and throw her in with Godzilla and the others. Kinda like Allison Hayes' character in Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. What helps support this is that the plot mentions Godzilla's atomic breath doesn't affect her, similar to how in Frankenstein vs. Baragon, the title monster isn't affected by Baragon's heat ray. Obviously because they don't want to put mini explosives on an actual person which could badly injure them. They were most likely going to give traces of metal under her skin as some kind of battle damage, just to help give us a reminder she's a robot. Overall, this was a movie that was best left unmade. It's way too much of a departure from the original this early on, and really kills the idea of what made Godzilla a tragic creature. Certain elements of this film would be used in later projects, like the Archaeopteryx being a kind of basis for Rodan, as well as the Hollow Earth idea for its debut film. Legendary's Monsterverse would also garner the idea many years later. And Anguirus' jaw being broken by a mechanical giant would coincidentally happen in the 1974 film Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Thankfully, Toho hasn't done anything dumb like make a giant sexy robot that gives kaiju boners. And hopefully they never look back at the idea ever. Thank you for watching.